half the fucking
half of my state.
Yeah, burnt
How
down
did it blow across the lake?
a large. I don't know.
I don't know either, man.
I don't know, but it burnt down a large portion of the northern portion of the lower peninsula of Michigan. So, but we still
Sounds
have
like a BLM land grab, bro.
That was against the prevailing winds, dude. That was against the prevailing winds. Figure that one out.
You ever heard of the water fire?
I just want to point out that the United States plants more trees than it's ever harvested. Ever.
Yeah. But if you look at the line of fires that go along with the Great Chicago Fire, because that wasn't the only fire on that date, it almost looks like they shot a beam of fire across the upper portion of the United States. It's a straight line.
Yeah, that sounds like a land grab. The Bureau of Land Management.
Even goes across it jumped 60 miles across fucking Lake Michigan.
I've had many arguments with like troglodytes who think the United States like dumps garbage in the ocean and stuff.
Hey, we didn't put nobody's moms in the ocean. Just do Osama bin Laden, man. Adds their tradition. You know, desert people bury their dead at sea, right?
Yeah. No, CIA gets a naval burial. Anyway.
CIA Vikings.
I was going to say, United States actually scores really high on like the so-called environmentalist thing on their scale or whatever it is. But they try and play it off because the United States has, 330 million people. And so it's higher, and they just use that raw number. And then they compare it to like Copenhagen or something.
Yeah,
Which has like 10 tall Dutch people outside of a building. Oh yeah, compare us to that.
You know what the oldest trees are and why, right? It's pine trees because we use less pine than anything.
Why are there Dutch people in Copenhagen?
I don't know. I'm just like, I'm trying to be as insensitive as possible. That's why I said there's only 10 people in Copenhagen. And I racially misidentified them on purpose.
Hey, there's Dutch people in Holland, Michigan. We even have a tulip festival every year.
Yeah, it's just, I get irked by people who compare the United States to some tiny non-European, non-country that's in Europe, like Belgium or something, right?
Yeah, Belgium is not a country, to be fair.
Yeah. So it's like, why don't you pollute more than
Luxembourg?
Like, we're like 50,000 times the size. What are you, retarded? France. Well, when you get out of the 17th century, then you can complain. France. Anyway.
Yeah, France, they were still beheading people in like the 1960s.
I'm actually in support. If you're going to execute people, that's actually a really good method because quick. Better than
do it all at once. One clip.
Than electrocuting, right?
I mean, there were beheadings about 5 years ago in France.
Yeah. I heard there were a couple in England too.
Exactly.
No, if you go into the YouTube comments of some places, they think the U.S. dumps garbage in the ocean, and that's why
I've never seen a single SJW dumped in the ocean.
I wish I could dump them all in the ocean.
We need to be feeding the crabs,
Yeah, for real.
I'm not sure the crabs would eat them.
Well, they're starving,
I don't
they're
see
on
why
welfare and shit.
I don't see why we can't dump food in the ocean because organisms would eat that.
Right.
To me, that makes sense. Obviously, garbage, we shouldn't do that. But like, people are like, what do you do with your garbage? And I said, we bury it because we're civilized, unlike you.
Well,
what does France do with their garbage?
Everything that's biodegradable doesn't need to be buried, and anything that's edible, we should give back to nature.
Meme, have you ever heard of the Foreign Legion?
That gets
the
done
French Foreign Legion, yes, I have.
Yeah, fuck the Foreign Legion. Yeah.
That's what they do with garbage.
That's what they do with the garbage. I see. Oh, we will take away your criminal record. Oui, oui.
Well, you
Get
need
in
to-
line, bitch.
I love there's this one presenter. I was talking about him earlier, Jeremy Clarkson, and you go back 25 years to his like old shows, and he's still talking about thieves in France and how France is crime ridden, and France really is. And I grew up with people from France who would joke about how crime ridden France was. Oh, I got robbed like 10 times in one place.
You know.
That's all they dare do there is rob you.
Are you talking about the cafes or the?
Just in general. The French
in general.
kids, the wives, the husbands, the priests.
The pickpockets.
Welcome to the church. Now stick 'em up.
We will be taking your tithes now.
And now your young boy, he is 14, correct? Ah, he is of age. Tell him to take off his pants. Oui, oui. France.
We have your wallet.
And then he just starts weeing.
Yeah. Oh, we actually means we.
That would scare the wee out of me.
Are you taking the wee?
Have I ever told anyone I can't stand the French?
Yeah, a few times.
Oui, merci beaucoup.
So we're ready for the tsunami.
I hate wine, so we'd work good together.
I hate the French unless I'm playing Age of Empires.
Yeah, they were cheap because they had the Chevaliers and they had the Paladins.
Look, it's Gay Perry. Need I say no more?
Gay Perry.
I'm cool with the French as long as they bring French fries.
Well, I mean,
No,
these are
no.
people who let a king with syphilis still rule. And
I
like,
don't
just
go
follow
to
his orders.
Paris, and
In
I
fact,
did not go to San Francisco.
That actually made it
Look,
better in their eyes.
I'll take an
Yeah.
English or a California wine over France any day. Sorry.
I can't stand the wine.
Yeah, I don't really care about the French, but fuck Charlemagne.
What'd you say their king had? Syphilis?
It's
He's
syphilis.
got the drip. He's got the drip.
That's a coincidence
drip.
because your current president has syphilis as well.
Syphilis. No, that's
No.
just one of the STDs. He has several that are
No,
only located
No.
in sharks.
He's got the clap. Ours got the clap, man.
Oh, does he?
That's blue waffle.
No, I think our
I don't
president
know,
has
I'm just
syphilis.
Is there an
Syphilis.
STD that makes you
Brilliant.
stand like Tin Man?
While sniffing children. I don't know.
Oh man.
He is a Tin Man. He sings "If I Only Had a Brain."
You know what? I am gonna miss him because some of these
I
incoherent.
would sniff all the sniffers and sniffedly sniffer if I only had a brain.
Some of these incoherent sentences are absolute gold mines.
I would sniff dog to slipper, from toe to hipper.
I just
If
woke
I only
up.
had a brain.
I was trying to get to work. Come on, man.
I just want him to tell more black people that they're
Where
not black.
are we? Where are we? Oh,
Maybe you can do it to other races. I mean, he's kind of like your version of Prince Philip in a way, isn't he?
Somebody volunteer to read this. This is a real quote, by the way.
what? You got the vaccination. Are you okay? I mean, you seem crashed in the background. No, it works. Or we, or the moon and dad, mom and dad, or the neighbor, or when you go to church, or where you. No, one. I really mean there are trusted interlocutors. Think of people. If your kid wanted to find out whether or not there's a man on the moon or whatever, something, or whether the aliens are here or not, who are the people they talk to? Beyond the kids who love talking, President Joe Biden. This message is backed
Beautiful.
by the sniffer.
This, I mean,
What
it
the hell is an
JFK
interloper, bro?
it makes JFK look like a Teletubby, doesn't it? Right? That kind of eloquence.
Well, I'm just thinking like him and George W. Bush in a room having a conversation, like we would all lose.
Like
Here,
early
Joe.
banjos.
Here, Joe. Sniff this. Oh, that's cocaine, man. Well, yeah, we got it here in Jose's ass. So what? Just sniff it, Joe.
Well, I mean, you would have cocaine Bush and barbiturate Biden. Be like the yin and the yang.
That's what I'm saying. It'd be a hell of a party here. Or maybe eat 1 or 5 of these. Maybe if you want, or if you don't, you can talk to someone. But I'll sniff that. Here, move out the way.
Breathes, when somebody's dying and you can hear the death rattle, like in their chest, like the way they talk, you're like, this person's about to die. Mike is literally about to die. He is going to die.
He's one bump away from it, huh?
Yeah, I mean, one fall and the man's breaking everything.
My butt's been wiped. Joe Biden. He's that guy that says, "Here, smell this." Yeah. Did you smell it? I knew you would.
Oh, come on, man.
Personally, I think that's just all smoke, smoking crackers. What do you want, smoke or crackers? You want to be blind or you want a treat? It's a circus.
Yeah, I got Joe here dropping the big N-word on the second one I posted. Or maybe, it's the second one.
If you could actually get him saying that on tape at any point, it would be fantastic to do. You know that there's that one song where the guy says it like 200 times. It would be great to get him saying it 200 times and just see if that goes viral. Did I cut out?
No, you're still there.
I think everyone's either listening or reading. I like this one. We cannot let this. We've never allowed any crisis from the Civil War straight through to the pandemic of 17 all the way around 16. We have never ever let our democracy second fiddle way that we can both have a democracy and elections at the same time.
This just in from the White House.
Brilliant.
We don't need any. We already have a nigger mayor. We don't need any more nigger big shots.
Who said that?
Joe Biden?
When?
What, 90? 80,
1990?
89? Something like that. Look at Hank.
I've got to clip that and put that into something.
You like that, don't you?
Well, do you guys know the type I'm talking about? I actually don't know which rapper. I don't know which rapper did it, but there's like an N-word counter on the actual video itself. There's like, and there's like a fuck counter, a bitch counter, and a shit counter as well. I'll have to pull it up. Hopefully this doesn't count as shit posting. Let me post it in the live stream.
In that longer version of the video I posted, he was bragging about, the Patriot Act came from him. Like he wrote most of it, basically, is what he was saying.
Like that's something to brag about.
Right? And then the crime bill, right? He's responsible for that shit. How many black people did that lock up? But if you don't vote for him, you're not black.
Can someone send me that soundbite? Because I want to crop that and put it in something.
I just posted it, bro.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry,
I was playing his soundbite, but here's the video.
Oh yeah, Mimas just posted it. That's the exact song I'm talking about. It would be great to have him doing that, and then just be like, "Well, there's Joe Biden."
I knew what you were thinking about. I was like, okay, I know exactly what this is because it's on the GTA soundtrack.
Yep. It's a 1986 hearing.
And it is one of the oldest meme songs that there is. Like, there's this, and there's like Darude Sandstorm.
He actually said that shit?
I'm surprised that was 86. I would have thought that, mind you, I mean...
See, and these foreigners think they can really know our nation.
No, but it's funny, isn't it? Because I don't think any of our politicians in England would have said that in the 80s.
No,
although they may have done.
He was quoting someone at the time. He didn't say it himself. He's quoting someone.
Yeah, who was he quoting, Matthew?
Even quoting in the last probably 30 years in England.
Who was he quoting, Matthew?
Either way.
Here's the thing. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about American culture. The only reason anyone quotes it here is so they can say it. That's the only reason. That is the actual truth. People here will quote it just so they can get away with saying it.
You know what's funny though is the only time I ever actually say it is in the context of free speech.
That's the only time I say it. I say it when I'm making a joke.
Yeah, there's another Democrat that said it, and then he got reelected. He was also a former KKK member and used to recruit fellow Democrats in the KKK.
Oh, and he's probably quoting a Democrat. Let's just be honest. Because, Matthew, you do realize the Democrats created the KKK, right?
That's why I ask. Yes, he was quoting a Democratic nominee for president.
Like, Matthew, you know that, right?
Yeah, it was the Republican Party that started
No,
by
it wasn't,
Lincoln.
you fucking retard.
No. He wasn't saying that. Let him finish. The Republican Party that started what?
Oh, the Republican Party. Lincoln was one of the first Republicans, and in the early days, to be Republican was to be
right,
anti-racist, basically.
Right. Well, he wasn't anti-racist.
And for the
way they use it now.
And for the Republic.
Yeah, racism is kind of a modern concept because
it was also invented
all
to
through history.
suppress,
We just had tribalism.
Yeah, I mean, it was invented to suppress the Ukrainians in some Russian war. Didn't exist before then. It was invented in like the 1920s or 30s. The concept, like before then, race wasn't like people knew that different people groups existed, but it wasn't considered like race. It was something different. It'd be like, oh, those people over there, they have these characteristics, and these people over here have these characteristics. It wasn't really like race is. I guess it's a modern conception, but racism itself wasn't considered to exist.
The difference is it hadn't had dialectic materialism applied to it yet.
Here's the thing: he was quoting a Democratic Attorney General for Civil Rights. The Attorney General for Civil Rights. That's who he was quoting. William Reynolds.
Who was a Democrat, right?
He was quoting Louisiana legislators.
William Reynolds, Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights.
The South that's where the Democrats ruled, was the South.
Sure, but you understand he was quoting it because his opponent at the time, political opponent, was turning a blind eye to local Louisiana legislators who said that in a memo. So he was in opposition to that quote. He wasn't just saying it for his own benefit. He was actually...
Yeah, he was saying it for his own benefit.
Well, what
He
about
was
Hulk
he was
Hogan?
Frankly,
criticising his
you
opponent.
don't understand American politics.
Sure.
Yeah, it's not just sure. You don't understand. I don't sit here talking about like Brexit because I don't understand it. I don't understand British culture. I don't.
It's got nothing to do with that.
Yeah, it actually does.
So if you say something to criticise your opponent, then you're agreeing with it. Is that what you say?
Not necessarily.
Well, that's what he's doing there.
That's not what he's doing there.
Right.
Yeah, I just want to point out that this may be slightly off topic, but Booker T gave this long speech, about I'm going to get you, I'm going to beat you up, and at the end he said, I'm going to get you, nigga. And then he realized that he said it live on air. He got a fine, right? Because you can't say that sort of stuff live on TV. So for a long time, like Hulk Hogan, he made fun of him. Hulk Hogan started using the N-word, and they took Hulk Hogan out of the Hall of Fame because he said the N-word with an A, not with a hard R. But how do you remove Hulk Hogan from the Hall of Fame? I mean, I'm not really a wrestling fan, but Hulk Hogan is the motherfucking Hall of Fame, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, there might have been famous wrestlers before him, but who wrestled as long as Hulk Hogan did?
Also, fundamentally, you should be allowed to say whatever the fuck you want. I don't really care if it offends people.
Hear, hear.
Yeah, the mistake is thinking that this wasn't just opportunism on Biden's part. He didn't like another Democrat's idea of conceding any kind of power to a Republican in a Democrat stronghold. That is the issue that was going on. He was whipping the party back in line. Just like they whipped black people back in line under Democratic rule in the South. Because that's what Democrats are. They're fundamentally wicked, evil people, all of them.
They are the real racist. DR3.
Yeah, unironically, I know it's a stupid cringe meme, but Dems are the real racist. That is a fact. That is a historical and current fact.
Because think about this, okay, so I've heard that it's racist to show the voter ID because black people don't know how to go get an ID. You got to be shitting me, son.
Yeah, that is exactly what they say.
Can't go get an ID. Why?
Black people
because
traditionally
it's too
don't
hard.
have IDs. No, what the Democrats will say, black people don't get IDs because they're afraid of getting arrested. So their implication is also that black people are all criminals.
Well, at the heart of this is the idea that everyone would be exactly the same if there was kind of some fair environment in which that could exist, which that fair environment doesn't exist anyway. But if you were to take like say 100 blue-eyed white British people and 100 green-eyed white British people, if that's even a thing, and you compared them on a number of metrics, you would find differences. You would find that maybe the blue-eyed people could run slightly quicker, and maybe the green-eyed people were slightly better at another thing like maths or whatever. Who cares? And maybe there's a genetic factor influencing that. Who fucking knows? But the point is the idea that you've got these blue-eyed people and these green-eyed people, and that therefore any difference is down to some sort of fundamental oppression of one of those groups, is the problem with all of this thinking.
So you think that if you get a large enough sample of people who are virtually identical except for the pigment in their fucking eyes, you're going to get.
He's just making a point about statistics.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people have got different pigments in their eyes. Now what? How is it flimsy?
Well, you reckon that if you've got 10,000 or 1 million people with blue eyes and 10,000 people with brown eyes, there'd be some highly discernible differential attribute between them.
Yeah, there would be differences.
Hold on. I got one for you.
Well, you're in the right place here anyway.
Hold on. People with 10 letters in
man.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. People with 10 letters in their names do better in Las Vegas than anyone else. Explain it.
Did you rage quit? I think it's rage quit.
Okay. Well,
no. Explain what?
Explain it.
Citation.
In Las
I'm wondering
Vegas.
if you can.
Citation?
I wonder if he
In
can actually
Las
justify.
Vegas. Hold on.
But before
In Las
before you do
Vegas.
that meme, like he hasn't even justified his criticism of what I said. He just criticized it. Like,
Yeah.
where is the justification for this?
No. You made an assertion. You made an assertion, not me.
His assertion was not specifically.
I didn't actually.
He was saying that if you put up arbitrary like differences, you're going to come up with some kind of statistical difference with arbitrary differences.
I mean,
and I was going to point out,
you've got two possibilities, right? You've got two possibilities. Either if you had 100 green-eyed people, 100 blue-eyed people, and measured all of these different metrics, that everything was exactly the same, right? Or that everything wasn't exactly the same. There's your two possibilities. Which one do you think's more likely?
Individuals aren't always going to be the same.
No, I'm not talking about individuals. We're talking about groups at the moment. So you've got 100 green-eyed people and 100 blue-eyed people, and you measure all these different metrics: height, how quickly they can run, a bunch of other shit. You measured like 1,000 different things. You've got two possible outcomes: either everything's exactly the same, or everything isn't exactly the same. Between the two groups, which do you think is more likely?
It's not going to be the same.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. So how is that stupid?
No, you said there was a correlation. It's different.
No, first of all, I never used the word correlation.
I thought you were ridiculing correlations.
No, I'm not talking about correlation. I didn't use the word correlation.
You said some.
I know.
You said some of them will be better at running, or some of them will be smarter at maths. That's making an assertion based on a correlation.
No, I think what you would find, inevitably, there would be differences in those two groups.
I think you're just being argumentative.
You could pick two random groups of 10.
Yeah, I do too. Let's mute him.
I think you're just being argumentative.
Of course you could. That's the point, bro.
Don't
the point
get mad at me
is that, and this is how these people work. They get these groups and they say, oh, there are differences, therefore oppression. That's how this works. The problem is, though, is that you can take any two groups. You'll always find differences. Always. Like, you find them wherever you want. Like, oh, this group's taller than that group. Therefore, what? Well, nothing.
How come in a sampling of Irish people versus like Norwegians or somebody else, Irish people always drink more? Yeah, it is actually a fact.
Okay.
Why?
Right, okay. They drink more than Saudi Arabians, that's for certain.
Look, I'm just saying, if you take arbitrary differences between people and then apply dialectic materialism to them and create a class struggle between the two, you can invent whatever you want, finding statistical differences. Like you can focus in on some meaningless statistic and say, oh, this makes them different. They're now different than this other group. And that is how, like, dialectic materialism works. That's how Marxism functions. It divides people based on stupid things.
Okay.
What's wrong with what he said?
It don't matter.
I would predict it'd work on him. That's what I'd predict. It'd work on that guy.
I actually don't understand what your position is. Your position just seems to be
I can make you feel separate from all of humanity with statistics.
Okay. I don't understand Paz's actual point. What is your actual position?
No, it's all right. Don't worry. I haven't got one.
Okay.
Nay.
No, I can't be bothered, frankly.
Well, you obviously do have a position.
Yeah. On this particular occasion, I can't be bothered to
Maybe you don't have a position, but you just fundamentally don't like running.
On his knees.
I still don't understand what your criticism of what my point was, though. You just seem to be saying "nah," and that's it.
Nay. Nay, I say.
Can you just let me talk?
He's just virtue signaling across the pond, bro.
That's nice, but I would like to know if there's actually a coherent point to be made. If so, it'd be a nice discussion to get into. If not, I don't know why you made the criticism. If it's hollow,
it's just the whole general gist of the conversation about statistical analysis was laughable, frankly.
But how? You haven't.
How?
Yeah, how?
I'm not even gonna. No, honestly.
So you don't have a point. That's my point. If you have a point, make it.
I think I'll be wasting my time making it here, frankly, on this particular occasion.
We have all the time to waste. Time is just a concept, man. It's okay.
Sure.
I think he's just a cunt.
Okay, like calling him a cunt doesn't. I'm curious as to know what your criticism is, right?
I'll tell you what. Let's just.
I said it plain and simple, cunt.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
Calling him a cunt doesn't answer the question.
No, actually, he's right.
I'm not trying to.
That's exactly what it is.
I don't believe you.
Just an asshole. Probably got a sliver. He fell down the stairs or something. Maybe his kid's smarter than him and it pisses him off. Who knows?
Yeah, this guy's a genius.
All of that's probably wonderfully accurate, but I'd actually like to know what the criticism of the point was. Can we actually have a discussion that's intellectual?
No.
Why not?
I can't be bothered.
Are you afraid?
That's not.
Look,
I feel like you might be scared of this.
He's
I don't know
proven
why.
right with all his words. He said, no, we can't. He's just a cunt. Do we need mail?
Calling him a cunt. Can I just get an answer out of him?
No. I'm going to put some mail on it when I'm done.
Well, call him a cunt later. Can I get an answer out of him first?
I'm bored of him.
It could be one.
Okay, that's nice. But you're just giving him an out, so he doesn't actually need to talk about this.
That's kind of was the point, bro. I was kind of tired of hearing his point because it was void.
He hasn't made one. That's what's frustrating me. He hasn't even made a point.
Annoying. That's what's annoying.
Well, then instead of calling him a cunt, maybe just wait for him to make the point.
He's just saying nay. Okay, I'll call him a goat. Nay. He just didn't like the tone of your voice. You must be from a different area than him.
Probably.
Yeah, East Coast versus West Coast.
You think he's got green eyes or blue eyes?
I don't know, but can I just get an answer out of him? What is your criticism of my point? I genuinely think that you're afraid to engage with me intellectually on this. And I don't know why.
That's fair enough.
That sounded like a concession. That's fair enough. That's a concession, right?
No, go on. Don't let him off the hook, bro. You were so.
I can see it. Yeah.
All right.
Concede to what? That's not good enough. That's too vague.
He conceded. He didn't have a point there.
But it was a very vague concession. Is that good enough for you, Crypto?
Not really.
Does it gotta be? So, bitch, you better get specific real quick. Just concede Battle Mod was right, and you were just trolling my friend.
Well, exactly that.
All right, so I'm gonna ban you for trolling now. Thanks for coming.
Oh, don't ban him because I have fun with him at other times.
I'm just
ban him, fuck's sake.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, guys.
Just do it temporarily.
Oh, I don't know how to use the bot. I done forgot. All I can do is hard ban.
Oh, just put him in Cognis for a day. It's what is it? Exclamation ban name 1. Because that was just straight up not good faith discussion at all on his part.
Why did he even speak up if he didn't have anything to say?
I don't know, man. It was just knee jerk. I think knee jerk. 1 minute. How long? 1 minute. There you go.
I gotta say, yeah, there would be differences between the blue eyes and the green eyes, right? The blue eyes would be more populated, more people, right? The green eyes is more of a rare condition, if you can call it a condition.
I think I would prefer the blue eyes. I have a plan.
I mean, that wasn't even really my point. Like the point is that like let me give in another example, right? So let's just say that you have a tribe of monkeys and they're green, and another tribe of monkeys are brown, right? And you find that the green monkeys are really good at jumping. Is it because they're green that they can jump?
No.
No,
Yes.
of course not. It's just a characteristic of green monkeys, right?
No, wait, no. I said yes. How are we going to prove it?
But
well,
we don't have to know, because all we have to do is apply a class system to it and decide that because they can jump and the other one can run, jumping is superior, which puts them in a superior position to oppress the ones who can run fast.
Right, then they're a preferred species.
Automatically, because of the class structure of the color of the monkeys, the ones that can jump higher are the oppressors.
Green is better than blue, then.
But the point is, like, it. I mean, they could even be very similar. Like, maybe they have they both can jump really well, but the green monkeys can jump like 1% higher or something, which means that for the average monkey, you couldn't tell. But for like the elite monkeys, like the best 3 green monkeys are better than the best 3 brown monkeys. You know, I'm just making sure. The point is that you can, and at that point, you can start using statistics to say all sorts of things. Any narrative you want to spin is then possible once you found that difference that doesn't really matter, you know. And this is how these narratives start. Oh, well, green monkeys earn more from jumping than brown monkeys, therefore there's a jumping oppression. Right?
Right.
They can get
because
the biggest
green
coconut.
monkeys can jump 1% higher on average and can reach more leaves. They are now the elite monkeys, and they must be fought by the brown monkeys.
They have the biggest coconuts. We must take them down.
But now what you can do is you can go to the green monkeys and say, you know, the brown monkeys they hate you because X, and here's justification. And then you go to the other monkeys and tell them, oh, they hate you and you have to do this and now hate each other, and you know, and this is how these narratives start. This is how the control of these populations starts. Yeah, this is what they do to us.
You know, white men can't jump.
I'm from the Free Monkey Society, and I'm here to tell you that those monkeys that can jump a little bit higher than you, they've been oppressing you.
Are they the yellow monkeys?
I'm from the baboon tribe.
I don't know why, as humans, we have this difficulty shaking off this kind of Marxist propaganda. I think there's something fundamentally kind of quote unquote fair within kind of our psyche as humans, that we think fairness is like really important virtue.
You know what I think it is I think that it takes advantage of the fact that we're designed as kind of a cultivator steward class over the earth. And I think it takes advantage of that programming and uses that programming, like clones it and puts it into another program, sort of.
Yeah, possibly.
I've heard it said that in Western civilization, when we've conquered a great deal of the things that harm people, you know, like we got most of the deadly snakes and wolves, and, you know, we've conquered all the dragons and behemoths. So the only thing left to conquer is like these tiny little minuscule things that, you know, only the social justice warrior really cares about. And it's like these little things are the only thing left to conquer. And it's our will to fight, you know, boys will be boys. And we're just wanting to conquer everything, every little injustice that we could find. And Karl Marx, he took advantage of that, right? And what he did was really brilliant, right? He made it to where we could just divide everybody and conquer them because they'll quibble over the littlest shit like gay marriage. Right? When they were talking about passing gay marriage, I was like, you can't do that, right? The word, it's older than you. You can't name the word, right? Like you can't rename computer, right? It's already been named. So if I start calling computer Lollapaloozas. I mean, I can't just change the definition of the word. So I was like joking around saying, yeah, okay, gay marriage, whatever, sure, call it whatever you like. It doesn't make it real. It doesn't make it reality. And I was saying that I'm gonna, do like a gay marriage divorce court, and I'm gonna put a patent on that. Right. So the only way that a gay person can get divorced is through me. Right. Of course, I was just joking, but it's so easily to get divided and conquered over such little things like that. Like, it didn't affect me at all. I was like, gay marriage, yeah, you can't do that. That's not even possible to rename it. It's older than you. It's the word marriage goes way back, and you can't just steal it.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Like, the gay marriage issue is something I don't care about. I just don't give a shit. Like, you want to get gay married, whatever. You don't, whatever. I don't care. I can't even bring myself to care.
Yeah, everything like that to me is like derived from the primary problem anyway. There's the primary problem that exists way before that. So it's almost like, what comes first, Delta or Delta X? And a lot of the problems people fight over, are Delta X problems.
I can see that.
Down the river. Right.
Yeah, it's like, we know gravity is real, therefore... and it's like, hold on, is gravity real? You sure?
See, that's why my solution is to just like build millions of helicopters and get rid of all the communists. That's my plan. All over the world, just get rid of all the communists, all of them. And that'll at least take us back to like that primary phase where there are almost no communists.
Does that mean that regular marriage shouldn't be legal either?
Look, if you get rid of communists, you pretty much get rid of poking people in the beehole anyway, probably. Just by default.
I just don't think it's an issue that, I don't know. I can't even make any comments on it. I just don't care.
I actually don't care at all about it, because to me it is just a derivative issue.
I'm pretty sure it's there to just wind up like conservatives in their 70s.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's just to kind of bring them out of their,
like
just to poke them a bit.
I won't expose my kids to sodomy. How's that sound? I'll just live my life and not let my kids be, emotionally and sexually abused by the world outside. How about I just do that, and I just let everyone else live their life?
That's what I was going to say. Is the only angle it bothers me from is that it degrades the family unit. Like, there's freaking commercials with gay couples now. Like, what the fuck?
Hey, I'm going to tell you this right now. Every 9-year-old boy, every 10-year-old boy who has not been sexually molested thinks that's gross. Every single one. But like I said, if you went back and you got rid of, like I said, we just build millions of helicopters and get rid of all the communists. There's a significant amount of child molesters that'll be killed along with that, right? That would solve a huge problem, because we know all communists are evil.
Well, there's an interesting statistic with regards to that as well. The heritability of kind of political beliefs in a meta sense. I don't mean like, do you vote Republican? I mean more like, are you prone to religiosity? Are you prone to all sorts of conservative kind of metrics? However you want to measure it, of course. Of course, there's always going to be issues with measuring these things, yada yada, whatever. But the heritability of like political belief tends to be positive between about 0.3 and 0.7, which is not insignificant. It means over, say, 10, 20 generations, you'll notice the kind of political shift in a generation fairly quickly. But it also skews even more in a certain direction when one... So how do I put it? So Republicans tend to have more children than Democrats as a function of their political belief, right? Partly. Which means you now have a political belief or a set of political beliefs that are kind of reinforcing themselves based on the beliefs themselves, if that makes sense. So now you've got a group of people effectively politically outbreeding those other people, which is one of the reasons why I think that there are so many kind of immigrants brought into Western nations by leftists, is because they realize they're going to get outbred if they don't do something about it. So they try and bring leftists in from other countries. That's, at least from a political point, I think that makes the most sense, because there's no way in hell that for instance, the politicians in the UK do not care about foreign people. They don't care. They don't even care about British people. How are they going to care about foreign people? So for them to say, oh, we're bringing